Hello and welcome to WMA and SoC Student News. I'm Indra Bhomik.
Hi, I'm Sucharta Sen. The theme of today's bulletin is poverty. Let's have a look at the headlines.
India is considered among the fastest growing economies in the world and home to some of the richest people on the planet. But still, millions of people sleep out in the rough, even as temperature hover near 0 degrees in the cold Delhi winter.
The number of illnesses among the poor is high during winter, and the lack of proper sanitation, shelter, and food make matters worse. Now to our top story. Homeless people are battling the cold. With nowhere to go, nights are spent under the open sky. Tanya Krishna looks at the plight of the homeless.
As North India experiences a colder than usual winter, all that Ghiran and his other homeless friends have to protect themselves are plastic sheets.
We don't have anything to cover ourselves. We use these plastics and torn sheets to cover us.
Ghiran ran away from his home in Allahabad 20 years ago and since then has been living on the streets. It is these poor people who are most at risk, especially when the temperature in Delhi hovers at 0 degrees at night. Many sleep outside on the pavement with barely enough covering to keep them warm through the night. As Ghiran and his friends struggle with the cold, the Delhi Urban Shelter Improvement Board has siphoned off about 20 crore rupees meant for building shelters for the poor. NGOs like the DUSIB-funded Indo-Global Social Service Society have a number of shelters for the homeless, but they are stressed because of increasing numbers of destitute in the capital city.
In some of the shelters, we also provide with food, education for children, and medical facilities, but such shelters are very few.
People in the shelter earn their meals. Some sew clothes, while others work in houses and schools as maids. Those who cannot find work line up at a nearby temple to get meals.
The NGO people takes care of us and takes us to the hospital when needed.
Night shelters provide comfort and security to those who have nowhere to go, but they are limited in number of people they can take in. Some can only house 50 people at a time, which means Ghiran will most likely continue to spend his nights out on the pavement. With camera person Abhinav Mishra, I am Tanya Krishna for WMA SoC Student News, New Delhi.
Around one-third of India's population falls below the 32 rupee a day poverty line. The government under the cash transfer scheme has allocated 600 rupees a month to each family, which is not enough to meet the medical expenses, let alone living, housing and food. Anuj Diwan reports.
Poonam, a young woman in her late 20s, is a mother of a 4-year-old boy who's suffering from cleft lip. She lives in the largest slum of South Delhi.
We'll get a child treated once we have money. My husband had kidney stones. People told us to go to a government hospital, where they gave us date for 3 months later. His condition became worse.
Poonam is not alone in a quest for affordable healthcare. With few medical options available, the poor have to depend on the government hospitals such as AIIMS and Safdarjung for healthcare.
The diagnosis is done well, but the time taken is too long. It takes from 3 to 6 months.
Patients also have to wait in long queues for medicine. The government provides healthcare to the poor, but the system is so overcrowded that it often takes months to get treatment, and the private hospitals are way too expensive. Some NGOs like the Earth Savior Foundation come to the rescue.
We have mentally disabled, we have young people such as graduates, those who were found and were in depression. We have rape victim females rescued from road.
City clinics provide basic healthcare, but if the patients are critical, they refer them to the government hospital.
If we eradicate malnutrition, the medicine cost will come down by 15%.
With private hospitals out of their reach, people like Poonam have no choice but to use the government hospitals of Delhi. With camera person Sucharta Sen, Anuj Diwan for WMA SoC Student News, New Delhi.
Families from rural villages migrate to the city in search of employment. Little children help their parents sell flowers at the capital's busy traffic signals. Vishnu Varma looks at Delhi's flower children.
8-year-old Kanchan sells rose bouquets at the Ladu Sarai traffic intersection in South Delhi. The trick is to sell as many flowers while vehicles wait for the lights to change. While Kanchan has barely enough on her feet, her infant siblings go barefoot on Delhi's cold and dirty streets.
My name is Kanchan and I sell around 5 flower bouquets a day at rupees 120 each. I don't go to school, but I want to study.
Kanchan is one among 50,000 street children who live in Delhi doing odd jobs. A survey conducted by Save the Children in 2011 concluded that half of these children are illiterate. These people have come all the way from a small town in Rajasthan to sell flowers at traffic intersections in Delhi. Clouded in abject poverty, their children are forced to skip school and earn meager amounts of money by selling these flowers. Manju is a young mother of 3 children and she sells flowers in another part of South Delhi. She spends most of her time packaging and wrapping flowers which she gives to her children to sell on the street.
We belong to Rajasthan and we go to Gazipur to bring the flowers. Every month we have to pay the police 200 to 300 rupees.
Manju says that if they do not pay off the police, they will be evicted. Her son Govinda, who's barely 8, knows all the tricks of the trade. While the government does little for these street dwellers, NGOs like Bachpan Bachao Andolan help migrant families. Since 1980, they have educated and supported more than 80,000 children across the country.
If a child in India sells items or begs for money on the street, it clearly points to the fact that our law and order system has failed in every way.
Kanchan says she wants to study and go to school like other children. But on the street corners of Delhi, there's little hope for that. With camera person Oindrila Bhaumik, Vishnu Varma, WMA SoC Student News, New Delhi.
In spite of their poverty and the raw deal life has given them, some of Delhi's most talented artists are found in the slums. Akanksha Srivastava spends a day in Katputli where she meets puppeteers and craftsmen.
Mohan Bhatt and his puppets have been together for the past 50 years. They are part of an artist colony in East Delhi's Katputli slum. Like Bhatt's puppet stories, the conditions in Katputli haven't changed. Mohan's wife Kesri helps her husband to conserve the Asian art form.
We are not loners. We are puppeteers since our ancestors' time. It is an ancient art of our family. We earn 2,000 to 3,000 rupees each time we perform.
There's more to Katputli than just puppets. The slum is home to woodcarvers and furniture makers. Katputli slum was established in 1970s, but now the government wants to knock it down to build a mall. Bhagwati Haridwar is a volunteer at the Asian Heritage Foundation.
Slum in situ slum upgradation ki baat chal rahi hai.
They're removing the colony under slum upgradation program. If the government gives those 6 crore rupees instead of flats, then the slum dwellers can make their own 2-story houses in the same space.
A mall would destroy the alleyways, such as this one, which is popular with the slum's children. Katputli's residents are proud of what they do. They don't want a mall. Instead, they want proper drainage and running water. Mohan Bhatt's focus is keeping this old art form alive. As a 70-year-old puppeteer, wants the next generation to pick up the trade. With camera person Namita Sahadevan, Akanksha Srivastava, WMA SoC Student News, Delhi.
It's cold out there and even colder in the studio. Let's get the weather from Abhinav Mishra. Hey Abhinav, how cold is it going to get?
Hi Sucharita, hi Undrella. Finally some sun and warmth for North India. And in the days ahead, I predict you won't need your heavy woolen coat. Here's the forecast for the next few days. Delhi is expected to see some light rainfall of about 17 millimeters. The maximum temperature will rise to 23 degrees and minimum will hover at around 12 degrees. It's hot in the country's economic capital Mumbai and getting hotter. The maximum temperature is expected to reach 30 degrees and minimum at around 22 degrees. Chennai is expected to remain dry with a maximum temperature of 27 degrees and a minimum of 24 degrees. Temperature in Kolkata is expected to reach a maximum of 30 degrees and a minimum of 20 degrees. Wind will be light and there are no signs of rainfall. And that's your forecast for now. Back to you guys.
Thanks Abhinav. I guess it will soon be time to pull out my summer clothes. That's all for now. Do not forget to watch our next bulletin. Until then, goodbye.